1. Cat got your tongue?
Where's your little kitten?
I lifted a brow in the direction of the alley, but avoided looking in the shadows. Aside from the slight slowing of pace, I passed it, a smile lurking in the corner of my lips the way she lurked around the corners of the city. Likely the same place where you get your manners.
Oh, I doubt that, darling.
But I was already turning, hands in the pockets of my jacket. I didn't bother looking back, just kept my eyes trained forward and held my cover closer to me. Vanwood was becoming darker, earlier, and colder with every passing second. Eventually, it would be bone cold, too cold for even me to be out like this with just a jacket. I didn't have much thought in my head other than dodging the sprinkling rain that began misting, but it seemed my new friend was just about done with our silly little cat-and-mouse game. My back hit a wall, my oomph covered by a thick, warm tongue that licked its way up my lips. The ragged gasp that pulled from me was harsh and embarrassingly close to a whimper, making her eyes twinkle behind the red tint of her glasses. I looked her up and down, tight leather bodysuit, tall slim heels. Her fingers were long and slender, covered in latex or leather, I couldn't tell, not without touching it. Small caps of metal poked through the fingertips that looked sharp and ready to bleed someone. I had to look away from them, pretend I hadn't been thinking about exactly what they might feel like on my skin all week. See? My voice shook with a surprised smile, but I couldn't help the flush that I felt creep along my face. No manners to be had. Hasn't anyone told you it's not nice to play with your food? Kat Marquess hummed, cocking an arm above my head. Her eyes heavy-lidded as she leaned down, letting her weight settle to the side of me. She was like a furnace, all heat and sharp lines sprawled out like a cat.
Oh, I thought I was on the menu. A little bird promised me you knew how to treat a pussycat such as myself.
It was impossible to keep my Cheshire grin to myself. Butterflies flitted through my stomach, in my veins, until I was sure I would break into a colony of monarchs and fly away. But Mama didn't raise a bitch, and I certainly wasn't a quitter. I lifted a brow, gave a good throat clear. Did they? I'm sure I could, if you'd let me go. My own tongue slicked against the flesh of my bottom lip and watched as she tracked the movement.
Silly little bird. I don't think I will.
Her murmur was like warm honey, smooth and thick, filled with sultry promises that left my knees weak and quaking.
I think I like you right where you are.
Don't you have better things to do than terrorizing civilians, Kat?
The droll roll of her eyes told me she had heard the intruder from miles away, but my stomach lurched down through my toes and shook up to my teeth. I'd heard of him, and though I never even met the man, I knew exactly who it was. He was bigger than I thought he would be, and I knew as a matter of fact he could hoist my fat ass across the alleyway if he so wished. Dahlia was going to die when I told her all about this. For all the time she'd been keeping him her dirty little secret, I knew she wouldn't be able to keep me away from him. I bet she hadn't planned my first introduction to her new boyfriend to be through his deranged ex, though. That was a new level of messy, even for me.
This is my new Tweety bird, Collins. Isn't she a sweet thing?